and I'm the International Cooperation Team Manager of OSEAN. So EASICO is a collaboration between South Korea, Indonesia, and Vietnam and the Philippines to use citizen science for understanding and reducing marine litter with the goal of achieving zero plastic cities by 2030. The project is supported by the Korean Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries, PEMSEA, and OSEAN works together with our partners from Indonesia Waste Platform, Center for Supporting Green Development, which is Green Hub from Vietnam, and International Coastal Cleanups ICC Philippines. We have a workshop each year from the beginning of this 3-year-long project. And this year is the fifth and last workshop we will be having. And this time the theme is Towards East Asian Initiative for Global Plastic Treaty, with the aim of understanding global plastic treaty goals, enhancing marine environment education efforts, and planning future developments. However, the workshop has been ongoing from Monday till tomorrow, and we'll have 2 special open sessions. The first one is where we are now, which will look into the utilization of AI and data for marine debris citizen science. So with no further ado, I would like to introduce our partner from PEMSEA, Mr. Thomas Bell, to go us through about the regional strategies and integrating marine and coastal data for sustainable development and management. So thank you. I would like to welcome Mr. Thomas to the podium.
Thank you very much, and welcome to everyone this morning. So as you mentioned, PEMSEA has been supporting EASICO for this past few years, and we're very happy to have the opportunity now to share about the importance of regional strategies and ways in which that regional focus going across boundaries is very important to dealing with the global challenges that we are facing. So just a brief overview of PEMSEA. PEMSEA is the Partnerships for Environmental Management for Seas of East Asia. It's a partnership of 11 country partners and a number of non-country partners, and serves as a regional platform through which these different nationalities, different stakeholder groups, different sectors can all come together for a shared mission, shared vision, healthy and resilient coasts and oceans, communities and economies throughout the seas of East Asia. This is done mostly through what we call the Integrated Coastal Management Platform. So this is sort of the idea that you bring together different thoughts and different processes. So we have a number of networks. This is one example, the PEMSEA network of local governments, which is brings together, not at the national level, we're looking at more peer-to-peer learning. So the challenges at this level, bringing together different, these different cities or provinces or so on, very different profiles, but facing similar challenges. So it's a platform to share best practices. And for example, they have issued the Marine Debris Prevention Initiative in 2019, which declared a joint ambition to reduce plastic pollution in the seas of East Asia. And that is becoming an increasingly important issue going forward. We also have a network of local learning centers. We have a network of youth leaders. And the idea of PEMSEA is to bring together these different networks to provide a mutually reinforcing platform for collaboration. So just to enhance the effects of this sort of transboundary cooperation. The Integrated Coastal Management Framework. So it's based on a holistic look at coastal and marine planning. So the idea is that you're not focusing just on one aspect of development. You're looking at how all these different biodiversity concerns, economic concerns, governance concerns, and so on, will interact. You will be able to account for maybe the unintended side effects of any action that is taken. And it is an iterative process. So you see in this diagram, the steps go from preparing all the way to refining and consolidating. And that is the means of ensuring that that the policy development remains active and engaged in response to developments in the environment, developments in science, developments in global policy, and so on. And it has a number of impacts. As you can see, the different stages have come up with a number of different policies that are options that apply to different territories, different cities with different needs, but they can all use the same model of this sort of iterative process to ensure that they are able to meet the needs of their local area. I'm really talking about the importance of regional strategies, as mentioned. So we have this summarized here as the Sustainable Development Strategy for the Caesar East Asia. That is our overarching strategy that brings together the member countries and other stakeholder groups. The importance of this transboundary cooperation, as I mentioned, relates to a number of fields. Ecosystem connectivity stretches across the political boundaries. Resources are often shared. The most obvious one is, for example, fisheries. You need to have this joint management to ensure that there is long-term sustainability for all parties. Pollution moves across boundaries. And then you get to the advantages of cooperation. There's capacity building elements. You're able to share, build up understanding as a region, and you can tackle issues more efficiently. Policy harmonization makes it much more easy to deal with joint management. For example, at the moment there is international discussions on plastic waste, and managing that waste requires a joint understanding of what exactly the issue is and how the different types of plastic waste are defined. So the regional strategies allow for different actors to come together and establish joint definition and joint policy actions to address it. And then scientific research and data sharing, of course, is a hugely important aspect of regional cooperation. The lessons learned in one city, in one coastal area, may be applicable to the entire region, and it's very important to ensure that as much knowledge as possible is spread throughout the region to greater benefit rather than being stuck and perhaps used once or twice. So this is just a short timeline showing the partnerships that PEMSEA has used to push forwards the regional strategies. So going from the initial Peach-Dry Declaration in 2003, we've actually been looking at issues surrounding blue economies, the circular issues since that 2012 Penang impact, and then 2015 for Aqua, the implementation for the SES-SEA. We now have a 2027 implementation. So I will be going through, as I mentioned, three examples of different platforms that PEMSEA is using to bring together data. So I mentioned these advantages already, and the examples I will be talking through from the PEMSEA side is our state-of-the-art ocean and coast reporting system. The data aspect of the marine plastic pollution project. I will not be going through the whole project, just the relevant part. And then the IIMS monitoring of river basins in the Philippines. So the first one is our state of the ocean and coast reporting system. This is a very broad measurement of coastal and marine health. It has 35 core indicators which touch on many different aspects. They touch on your what you might consider the more standard environmental indicators, like biodiversity numbers, land use, and so on. But then it also finds ways to try and quantify what people may often consider to be more of a qualitative aspects. So items relating to governance, relating to capacity and public awareness. Because if you don't understand these qualitative items, then it's very hard to monitor your progress. So we use this SOC system to establish a baseline for both the quantitative data that you might expect and for the qualitative, to provide understanding on the demographics, the environment, the policy, the socioeconomic status of the region. And this allows for the creation of the integrated coastal management system. It's that data which allows for policy to be evidence-based and for policy to be monitored for effectiveness. So the idea is that if you continue to use this reporting system over time, you will measure not only the current situation, but you'll be able to understand trends and changes that both come from external pressures and come from the responses to policy actions taken to improve these various indicators. So the way the indicators are set up, it's what we call the drivers, pressures, state impact response framework. Trying to capture all of these. This is a framework that is being used in a number of areas. This diagram from the United Nations Environment Program. So we're encompassing what the drivers are the base, what you're looking at, the base human cultural pressures. Also, I shouldn't use that word. The human cultural factors that will bring forward pressures on the environment. So yeah, things from just population growth, from human activities, and then pressures are from here what those drivers cause. So what stress will human activities place on the coast and the ocean? So for example, increasing human presence, increasing fisheries may cause stress to fisheries populations. Land use change will affect ecosystems, and so on. That leads you to consider the state. So that's where you measure these pressures. So you measure the impact on the fisheries, you measure the quality of the coastal waters for pollution, you measure the biodiversity changes, and you can quantify these as impacts. And from there, you can develop your responses. So what are the policy measures you can take to reduce the impact or to reverse the impact while continuing to be able to maintain the health and the development of your human communities. So you're trying to, with this framework, capture the complex interactions of the both the natural environment and the human environment. And you want to be able to understand the interacting systems and understand that policy measures that are put in place will have ripple effects, and you're trying to capture all of that. So that's why we have such a wide range of indicators within the SOC system. So some key understandings is that the SOC reporting system is meant to be initiated and used by the governments in question. So each report is done almost as a way to help. It's a tool effectively for a government to help to evaluate and monitor its own policy actions and to ensure that the path it is taking will help move it towards its eventual end goal. The development of the reports and the implementation of any policy resulting from them will require collaboration between different government agencies, different sectors, towards getting the data, towards long-term monitoring, and towards distributing the information that comes out of these reports to ensure that all stakeholders, from policymakers, private sector to civil society, is best informed. So we have initially, when they adopt this system, the first report is of course going to be considered the baseline data, so you're measuring that current state, but with further iterations, we are able to begin to capture the trends and consolidate information that many may be considered disparate, and you can see links between, as mentioned, it's iterative, so you need to continue with this process to ensure that all these benefits are maintained. And this is just an example of one of the ways that the results can be shared. So this is a look at just a few of the indicators from our report in Batangas, in one of the provinces in the Philippines, where this SOC system has been in use for quite a while, and they've been working on sustainability even before they began with the system. So this is just one of the ways in which their report was able to convey to civil society, to other stakeholders, the results of their self-assessment for the various indicators, and they use different faces to indicate different levels of change. So actually the yellow smiley face is an improvement, and the green face with the straight mouth, that's the neutral, and then the red face was used for the indicators where they saw a market. This is not all the indicators, it's just a screenshot, but you can see, for example, that different fields that the indicators cover. So we have from the risk assessment, we have legislation, we have public education and capacity, human capacity, budget, and then the natural indicators, so the area of protected habitats, the land use changes, the water access, water quality, fisheries, malnutrition. So a lot of different economic, demographic, and environmental indicators. And actually just the process of going through looking at all of these different indicators, if you're thinking the process of assessing the environment, of then assessing demographics, assessing policy, assessing financial resources, just going through that process is actually very helpful, we found, for policymakers and others involved, because it really helps to illustrate the links between all these different fields. So, you know, some person doing a particular job focusing on, say, fisheries will be very focused on just an aspect, and may not within the, just normally within the day-to-day operations of the job, day-to-day operations of their roles and responsibilities. They don't consider the rest of the management, other aspects of management for the coastal area. So bringing together everyone, going through this process, is very helpful in showing those links and showing how coastal management is a very interlocked process, and every action that is taken may have impacts on a number of unexpected areas. And just as a quick look at some of the results of the most recent regional SOC. So this was able to bring together data from, this was bringing together actually all the national SOC reports, so a series of reports were done by each of the PEMSEA partner countries, and then this was consolidated to get a regional understanding of different aspects of the coastal and maritime space. This is just a couple of examples you can see, because we're talking blue economy internationally. I thought I would highlight that. We're in the UN decade of ocean sustainability, blue economy, and development. So you can see the relevance of the ocean to the economy. So we call it the ocean economy or the blue economy, and includes not just the direct things like fisheries, but also industries and communities that depend on that to do other tasks. And you can see it has a surprisingly large impact, uh, and then the impact that important for different countries, but in different ways. So providing a different amount, a different contribution to growth from all the way up to 87% in the case of England. And then this is a look at just the changes in trees and agriculture, using this data from different national, because the data is often siloed into national indicators. You bring it together, you can get a regional picture. You can see the increase in agriculture, the growth in agriculture products, and actually this data goes on into 2018, but has continued to increase. And I believe now we have actually more aquaculture than we do wild caught products. So big change in the way that nutrition, a big change in food security, a big change in nutritional provision, a big change in land use that this brings. So a lot of factors that feed into the dry agriculture and a lot of resulting changes that need to be considered by policymakers throughout the region. And just a sample of some of the items as mentioned, this is a flexible reporting system. So it's able to be used at different scales. So we have reports, I just showed the regional report, but we have the national reports that it was based on, and then we even have local reports. So I showed the example from Batangas. We have Guimaras province as well in the Philippines, and a number of other sites. And some of these national reports were the first one, but we are currently working on building a second edition for some countries, working with the relevant government authorities. And so we should be able to get start developing a longer term trend analysis throughout the region. So that's the state of the ocean and coast reporting system. It's, in summary, a holistic way to measure and monitor the impacts of various government strategies at all your different spatial scales. So the second item I will talk about in terms of data, I raised this here in the EASICO project actually because the implementation is inspired and informed in a way by what PEMSEA has learned throughout these last few years. So this marine plastic solution project is recently begun. We started it last year, and it's aiming to work at the local level to reduce plastic pollution, plastic input at 10 local sites in the Philippines and Timor-Leste. These sites were selected in cooperation with the governments on the local level and the national level to get a range of different sites. These sites have different socio-economic profiles. They range from important self-governing cities to smaller coastal more towns. They have different levels of average wealth, different population levels, and different environmental considerations. And this project aims to use these sites to see how to get more case studies, more examples of how plastic management may be applicable in different ways to these different economic and socioeconomic conditions. So this is the project at a glance. So is also looking at a number of different aspects of management. So we're looking at a governance aspect, best practice and innovative solutions, looking at the monitoring, and we're looking at capacity. So the governance and best practice components I will not talk about too much today, because they are aspects which obviously they're going to be developed over a longer period. But we're looking today in this session at data, and the component 3 on the beach monitoring will draw quite heavily. So from work, as you will see from the EASICO. So this is done, we're following the standard method of shared throughout all these 10 steps. So actually per project site, there'll be 1 to 3 different locations which are selected for the monitoring. And this is done ideally once every quarter in every set, and will be continued throughout the duration of it. So we're able to use the fact that there was an existing methodology that was shared with us, and for the able to hire or able to use existing training facilities to really get this started quite early in the project. And by running this through, as you can see from, we've already had our first survey done in the first half of this year, and we'll run it all the way through to at least the end of the project. And we're hoping that by that point, by having done it for 5 years, that it may be seen as valuable by the local governments and other institutions. We'll be able to continue applying this methodologies afterwards. This project is meant to come in and not and produce, it's meant to help governments, help stakeholders to develop their own policy rather than imposing new policy. So groups of different surveys. We have universities mainly, who are the institutes, and within them they're working together with different civil society groups. So we have in some of these locations student groups, obviously very decent with the universities to work to. We have some local NGOs in Ottawa. We have the Luan Bright Seas NGO, which is aiming at improving the sustainability of tourism in that location. Ecosystem. In some of them we have women's groups, and in others we have, in some of the Philippines, we have some what they call just the civil defender groups, which are basically organized by local government to try and make sure that members of the public are involved in different aspects of civil society improvement. So whereas before open activities, they've done garbage pickup, for example, before, litter drives. This is how they run their coastal cleanup. And we are able to engage these groups to engage in the civil society beach monitoring, because the method is simple enough and consistent enough that through our training we're able to bring together all these different groups towards the same goal. So in 2023, we already established the sites for the beach monitoring, and share the example here in Time in northern Cebu. It's a diving resort area, very popular tourism spot. So they are concerned about plastic, and not just for the environmental concerns, but because they want to remain a very attractive destination for both domestic and international tourists. And there's been a lot of discussion in the region about how beach plastic, how ocean plastic is really not helping with the image for some of these diving spots. So yeah, there's identify the beach, which is not not far from the main diving sites, but also not directly adjacent to any of the hotels themselves. So the area is a good mix of being exposed to the same pollution. There's no one who is currently doing the cleaning the beach to make their hotel look nice, for example. Just sharing a few other sites. And this is the manual which was shared with all the sites we developed based on the monitoring sheet, which you can see here, a way for them to report the results of their monitoring in a standardized format. And they upload this all to a web portal which we have designed, and the web portal allows for anyone, or will allow, I should say, for anyone to come and view this data to see how things have changed across all the sites. Now, obviously, this is just starting now, so we don't actually have the trends. We only have the first study. So I just share some example. This is from actually the start of quarter one, quarter two, 2024. For all the sites, just the number of items that were recorded in the surveys for these sites. I show you here Timor-Leste in the Philippines, 4 sites, Timor-Leste sites in the Philippines. And this is compatible with the methodology that is done in from the Republic of Korea beach survey. So our hope is that this will be able to be integrated with other data sets going forward. And just to look at a bit more detail, to show you how when we have more data, it should work. So you're able to really adjust through the filter menus. You're able to, when we launch fully on the website, able to look at one site only or compare multiple sites and adjust for trends over time, and a lot of different filters. So I combine a lot in this graph, but we filter when they're recording, they look at how much of the waste in the beach is, for example, domestic to the country, how much they say is imported, foreign, so bottles coming from across the sea, for example. They record plastic items, the non-plastic items. They record within the plastic a lot of different types of material. And then you can also break it down not only into the site, but into the different monitoring locations within each site, for example. So, as mentioned, we have one to 3 different sites in each of the project locations. So the idea is that when we have a few more, quarters of data at the very least, anyone from these sites will be able to come onto this website and be able to see how the trends in marine pollution is occurring in their local area, and then how it may be compared to other local areas. We'll be able to see if there's any commonalities that are occurring across the different sites, or any sites that are doing particularly well, that may share lessons for the other locations. As you can see already in this initial quarters, a lot of variation in the baseline amount of waste. So the highest one you see in this graph on the top left is Andag City. So that is adjacent to I believe that's the east coast location in the Philippines. So maybe a lot of local waste, and maybe also a lot of waste coming in from the Pacific Ocean. We will be able to see, hopefully, with more analysis going forward. But as I mentioned, early stages, but we do believe that this system may provide useful for these locations, and also example of how this data that's generated through these projects can have a public face and be available to the people in those sites and researchers elsewhere in the region and the wider world, perhaps. The third, so this is just a summary of the challenges and strategies that we use for the sites. I'm sure that those here who are already familiar with the civil society, civil science, will be familiar with the issues. But we actually, I can share that in the first stage, in these first couple of quarters, we did have some initial issues with the data uploads. We have provided this already pre-made form to try and ensure that the data is comparable. So the sites do not have to do much of the data formatting themselves. They have an Excel spreadsheet which is provided. They just fill in the relevant data, and then because it's already uploaded onto the websites in that form, the analysis is done on the website by these. We've already set up a lot of formulas, a lot of weight comparisons that can be looked at through the website. So they don't need to be able to, they don't need to be have the technical capacity to be able to determine how they want to analyze the data. They don't need to have the technological access to the data. They just need mobile phone access. And once they send the data and we have uploaded it, they can look at the analyses on the website themselves. They can look at these graphs and share these graphs without needing to produce it themselves. So that is one of the ways in which we're trying to overcome the challenge of the different abilities, different capacities. We're saying we've all provided this. So as long as you provide the data, you can then use the analysis that's already created on the website. So no need for them to do themselves. And exclusively by a simple system, data sent in and then the filters on the website. So involving a lot of different community members, just look at the training that was done, bringing together members from all of these 10 sites. The third item that I will share is a different task. This is the River Basin Integrated Information Management System. Now, this is a system that has been developed in the Philippines to facilitate their coastal and river basin management. It's a national system now that actually grows out of a very local system. So this originally was developed, I might have said it was developed in support of the Manila Bay. So Manila Bay in the Philippines is a very important area both for population and economy. It has adjacent to the capital city, there's 20, 30 million people at least that are reliant on the waters. So in the early 2000s, there was a lot of research in Manila Bay on how to measure and monitor the impact of interventions there. And that has slowly developed throughout the years. And now PEMSEA is working on assisting local governments and the national government in the Philippines to have this similar way of tracking their coastal and river basin management efforts. So this is a database system, so it's able to store data similar to the Coast and Oceans Report, but on a more continuous basis with data able to be added and updated at any time by the relevant involved authorities. So the Philippines is a very varied country geographically and demographically, ranging from Manila Bay, which was mostly a very urban area with millions millions of people. And then you go to provinces where they're dealing with a very different situation, so different pressures on the environment, but also much lower resources. And then a lot of differences in data quality, the sources of the data being carried out, and then big problem in inaccessibility of data. So a lot of local governments have been working on these issues. They're working on maintaining their local environment, but this information did not escape the borders of the local area, did not reach national policymakers, other policymakers. So very siloed activities taking place throughout the country. So this joint database is a way to bring all that information together and allow for other work in the governments throughout the Philippines to see what the tactics have been used in different areas that may be applicable. So we're looking at a broad range of indicators. Yeah, just run through list some examples. Yeah, like with the SOC, we're applying a similar idea of making sure that this is a holistic framework, so a very integrated philosophy. We're asking the local managers to consider, by asking them to record all this different data, they're being asked to consider and make sure that all of this is being tracked. It helps, as mentioned, with the SOC reports. It's a different application, same philosophy. By recording and monitoring all of these different items, they then pretty much, you say, forced to see the linkages between them. So we have our biological resources, then we also have the demographic and socioeconomic data. So all these going to vary by different locations, of course. So this gets into very specific details in some parts because of the needs within the Philippines. A range of different socioeconomic areas you can see. And some of this, for some sites, they're not going to have mining, some sites may not have fishing and so on. We have this collective, wide range of indicators so that the governments can ensure that if whatever is more relevant to their location is recorded in some way. And then we ask them to upload in this platform their relevant local legislation and government plans. So a lot of Philippine local governments are responsible for issues like waste management, biodiversity management. It's the responsibility of the local areas, and it's done through a local body because, local legislation, you could say. And these are very hard to find and very hard to understand for anyone not from, if you cannot go into that town hall and access the laws, often it's, you cannot really understand. So we encourage them to upload their relevant ordinances, they're called, effectively the legislation, to this portal so that it is more accessible, not only for others, but actually more accessible to within those regions as well, especially with the growth of mobile phone data. Many of these, they don't have the capacity at the moment to have digital presence on their own. So this is just a portal that allows them to have that digital presence and that being accessed. And then, of course, we ask them to report the environmental analysis if it is being done, that is to say, regarding pollution. And so the advantages that we have, as mentioned, this is a sort of standardized way of collecting the data from throughout the different local governments. And it's intended to be a very user-friendly and self-driven. So the government, we are not saying we are doing all this. We're providing the platform that the governments or other stakeholders can use. They are able to put in all the data themselves, and then be able to use that data to assess that what their management interventions are doing. And as I mentioned, it's got a wide range of indicators, so it's quite flexible. It will be able to account for your specific needs of the particular local areas. And there's a few different ways to encode this data. So just to show you pictures, as mentioned initially, this was for Minute, mostly a document. Then it was upgraded a few years later into software on the national DNR, their computers. But now with this latest iteration, we turned it onto an online system. So now accessible to everyone throughout the country who can use it. They no longer have to deal directly, send the information to the central government. So it is restricted to those who are authorized users, but are able to authorize that access to a much wider range. So just showing you a few screenshots. So this, you can see the different major watersheds actually in the map, and then very small on the left. I don't know if you can read, but it's got all the data categories which I showed you on the slides earlier, so that the people using this site can go into, go into that list and select if they want to look at a particular item. So this, as I mentioned, showing river basins, they can select from that menu and see how that applies to their area. So it could be a very simple data input form. So this is example of what they will see if you're when the new user logs on, needs to fill in the basic information about their local area. They ask to fill in basic geographic details, and then description field for anything else they want to know in terms to share with the national government, other local governments. They're asked to fill in demographic data, you can see here, and asked to fill in the relevant census information that came from their local area. Things like that. Not only the population, number of households, age distribution, so demographic distribution, and estimates for population growth in the future by a certain growth rate. And then here's an example of where they fill in the environmental data if available. A lot of items so none of this is mandatory, so they can leave it blank if that's not being measured yet. But if it is being measured, they're asked to fill in. So you can see here, this is different pollutants. If it's being measured, they fill in this pollution level for for your copper pollution, your lead pollution, mercury pollution. Especially important for areas of the Philippines with large mining operations. And then this is just show you the user profile. So as mentioned, we want this, it's built to be accessible. So you don't need much skills to use it. So every user has to fill in their relevant information so that you can see what local area they're from, what region in the Philippines, and then if they're from the national government, from the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, fill in that information as well. So then you can see who is you can see who is inputting information into the site, and therefore be able to know who you want to contact if you want more information. So this allows national and local governments another avenue for communication and to be able to see at a much quicker glance. So if who do I talk to for pollution issues in Cagayan de Oro, for example, National Montano, right? A way that they can see if someone is looking at that data, then able to contact them. There's a query system we're developing where you can using SQL data to analyze various maybe too small to see, but yeah, you can ask it to say, pair all the local sites whose data is being inputted for, and see, so you can just ask it to say, show me all the sites, for example, who have inputted a certain pollution factor, so all the sites which record mercury pollution, all the sites which have uploaded local legislation, all the sites where population of so on, and this pollution. The query system should allow for, as the information is populated, ever more specific questions to be asked about the environmental conditions. And because it's broken down on the local level, you're not just saying, you're not looking at the data nationally, you say, the population is growing at this % rate and pollution is increasing at, this percent nationally. You're able to say, break it down into the ideas. You can go into the local detail and you can say, oh, with all these sites where population is increasing to different percentage, and you can see different percentage change in these environmental factors. So robust query, I'm just showing you some of the code that work is produced. So this is your Manila Bay, where this project started back in 2003, 2006. Yeah, very, very early on. Producing the atlas, which helps the policymakers in the provinces. So this is on the right side, the watershed provinces, important. So the watershed goes all the way up into the inland areas. So they are also asked to contribute because obviously any pollution in their rivers, any issues upstream will affect Manila Bay. And then through the IMS, the display is not very modern, but the information is good. Here you could just show an example uploaded from Bataan province, and looking at the coral. So this is from that query system. You ask it to generate a coral in the canvas, it will generate you something like this if the information is available. And then an example of, as I mentioned, these laws and ordinances, local laws, very difficult to access, very difficult to understand. This is an example from the municipality of Morong, Bataan. They are able to upload all their ordinances going back, this is just the earlier ones, to 1999. So the Fisheries Act, I believe, was 1998, so everything after that. How different resolutions relate local laws. So before, this cannot be found unless you go to that municipality and you look through their books. Now, any of the national government, other local government, able to check what ordinances have been put in place in that municipality. So is there any best practices they can get from that? Okay. Not too much time, so I just mentioned briefly what else PEMSEA is looking at. We are still working on marine pollution, working at the NMAPS project with the ASEAN Center for Biodiversity. We're looking at MPAs throughout ASEAN, how they can be linked. So looking at the regional linkage MPAs in Indonesia, the Philippines, Thailand. We're looking at river basin management in 6 different countries, very similar monitoring reporting system. And of course, more work on marine plastic pollution. This one looking at how policy can be unified across ASEAN member states. We're working on biofouling. This is a global project. We're focused on Philippines, Indonesia. This is more science best practice for monitoring biofouling. Yeah. So looking forward, we're really looking towards this blue economy and working with the national and regional actors, especially with the international focus on the blue economy at the moment. So thank you very much. Hope that's fine.
Yeah, thank you, Curtis. Well, since PEMSEA is a partnership in environmental management for the seas of East Asia, it covers a wide range of countries in East Asia. Still, since PEMSEA's headquarters is in Manila, we were able to hear a lot about Manila and overall BEP project. And it was a nice case study that we could have in detail. The next presentation by Dr. Lee Jongmyoung for Ocean. We can empathize how difficult it is and what are the challenges from developing such data platform and monitoring surveys and spreading them out as well. So we'll have a look into the Korean experience, and the podium is yours.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jongmyoung of our Southeast Asia network. As an introduction, self-introduction, I like to play the video clip introducing my organization, OSEAN.
Our Sea of East Asia Network, OSEAN, turns on the potential of a dying ocean. In October 2009, OSEAN's journey began with two researchers who wanted to protect our oceans from marine debris. Our expertise has been recognized globally based on government policies and connections with Asia-Pacific countries. Through education on marine debris with public officials, teachers, and experts, we have created a change in awareness. Connecting our oceans and sustainability. OSEAN is growing as a platform to address marine debris in Asia-Pacific region. Starting with small individual concerns, our focus now extends to protecting our oceans and planet for everyone. We will continue it with OSEAN's unique expertise and efforts.
Today, I will introduce the coastal big data platform of Korea. So I will introduce the platform itself, and I will introduce Coastal Pollution Center, or OSEAN is working in, and how we are working with that platform by data standardization and quality control. And I will show you some cases of utilization of coastal pollution big data. As Korea is a peninsular country, coast is playing a very important role for Korean people. So coastal area include coastal land, including uninhabited island and 500 meters from the coastline land area. And also we have a coastal marine area, including beach and seas between coastline and the outer limit of territorial area. The coastal area is prone to damage of disaster. So over the past 7 years, the damage scale of the natural disaster in coastal area was approximately $0.8 billion in Korea, and it is increasing with climate change and intensifying of typhoon and rising sea level, and etc. The coastal area is contributing economic role in Korea. So the number and area of industrial complex are located at coastal area, about 40% and 65% respectively. And about 28% of Korea's business are located in coastal cities with about 6 million workers. So the goal of coastal big data platform is promoting new industry through the activation of coastal data economy to solve social issues related to coastal area. Our objective is establishing a big data platform with a network that facilitates the distribution and trade of data products. So the purpose of this platform is enhancing data utility in the coastal sector and expanding the role of private sector in data production and service. And also we are aiming to promote distribution and trading of data in coastal sectors. So we are applying the strategy of coastal information opening and convergence, coastal information utilizing support system, and we are building a self-sustaining system for coastal big data. In this platform, we have 4 institutions in the platform itself, led by Korea Institute of Ocean Science and Technology. Under the platform, we have 10 centers with many participating institutions, including Coastal Pollution Center, where oceans are working. This is a web page of Coastal Big Data Platform. So you can see there are climate change data, coastal safety, and disaster, pollution, environment, erosion, and also coastal operations. So people can easily search data they need and download the data from the platform easily. So for Coastal Pollution Center, we are providing the coastal pollution data from Korea's National Beach Litter Monitoring Program. We call it KNPLMP. The Korea National Beach Litter Monitoring Program is funded by the Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries and hosted by Korea Ocean Environment Management Corporation, the public company, and OSEAN is in charge of management and data analysis of the monitoring program. So we have 60 sites along the coastline of Korea. We are conducting 6 times of a survey per year, once every 2 months, and producing scientific data for the establishment of policy for the prevention and management of marine debris in Korea. So we are providing the data on marine litter for the policy development. So we identify the amount and source of the marine litter, and we analyze the spatial distribution and pollution level and long-term fluctuation trend of marine litter in Korean report. We are surveying 4 transects with a 5 meter, 5 meter transect in 100-meter beach in our survey site, and measuring number and weight by material, and we classify the plastic types. And after the survey, we are cleaning and collect all the debris on the beaches for the next survey. So based on the monitoring program, we are providing the map or graph depicting spatial distribution or time series variation and the top 10 debris of Korea for government and for our people. Based on the analysis of the monitoring program, we are providing the marine litter data with the environmental threat. Since the cases of biological damage due to marine debris are increasing in Korea, so we are extracting the quantity of marine litter item with environmental threat from the raw data of National Beach Debris Monitoring Program. The marine debris item with the environmental threat include fishing line, fishing hook, and leather weight. They are easily entangled or ingested by marine wildlife. You can see the pictures of the example. So we are providing data in form of year, number of surveys, survey site, the geological information, material, item, and density with a CSV format. And also we are providing marinita data with a navigational thread, since the number and cost of naval warship entanglement by the fishing gear in Korea are increasing. So we are extracting the quantity of marinita item with a SIM navigation thread from the National Fisheries Monitoring Program. The details of data are similar to with the previous one. And we also provide the data with a source. So we identify the marinita source as a domestic or foreign origin debris. And then we also provide it to land-based single-use plastic or sea-based marine data, including aquaculture and capture fishing. So we extract data and providing the data with a similar format in CSV format. And we also provide data with the administrative region, so the local government or local people can easily understand the situation of their hometown or their concerned area in marinita generation or distribution. So the first and most important thing we are doing is data standardization. Usually we have data with inconsistency in term and form, and usually it has an ambiguous meaning. So we are applying data standard system with defining of a standard term and standard word and defining of domain. So we provide data with a standardized term and with a aligned data format with a clear meaning in words we are providing. And we also applying data control tool like to error check and correction through value diagnosis, standard diagnosis, and structure diagnosis in our database. So you can see the definition of our data column, the metadata. We defined the year, land of survey and survey area, source category, material item, blah, blah. And we are also providing very precise geological information of our data. So this is example of a coastal pollution data table. You can see many things are aligned as a standard form. And this is the example of our data. So if you are interested in Gangha area, we have a monitoring site in Yecha Beach. So if you download the monitoring results from Gangha Yecha area, you can download this type of debris with a very long table and has a very very good information with geological information. So the utilization of pollution data, we can say that big data is like a bread and butter for the post-industrial revolution. With big data, with big data, the post-industrial revolution is possible. Like coal and steam engine worked in first industrial revolution. IoT technology and artificial intelligence and big data is an essential part of a post-industrial revolution. And with the big data system, we can predict and analyze the marine litter. With the massive amount of data that can be managed by traditional data management tool, we can identify short-term problem and forecast long-term trend and analyze the cause of change. And we can make basic data for various countermeasures, and we can converge data and create new field and opportunity with a big data system. One case of using big data platform in academic field is like this. The researcher in Korea Maritime University published one paper titled Analysis and Forecasting of National Litter based on coastal data in South Korea. 2009 to 2011 was published in the scientific journal Marine Pollution Bulletin in 2023. They use in method part. They acknowledge that they use the data from Costa Big Data platform, so they could analyze and predict, forecast the marine litter trend of Korea in a very long term. And another case is analysis of marine debris quantity and impact assessment using image data from ocean nights and total pollution data. Ocean Nights is Ocean's citizen science program. People can easily take a picture and record the type and impact on marine debris in coastal area. You can hear the detail of Ocean Nights at the following session of this, the following presentation of this session. So with the Ocean Nights program, we get many pictures from our citizen scientists. So we have a very good cloud system for the citizen scientists managed by IT company Dev Group. And we try to combine the data from coastal pollution data platform. We try to evaluate and analyze coastal debris quantity using AI object detection technology. And we also apply the spatial analysis of discarded fishing gear along the coastal area of Korea, and also analyze the impact of impact on fishing vessel by the marine debris, and we try to find out the relationship between marine debris distribution and actual damage of ocean wildlife along the coastal area of Korea. With this trial, the Ministry of Science and Technology and the Korea National Institute of Information Society Agency published some cases book introducing best practice. They selected this case as their best practice #1. Not might be best, but #1. Yeah. So they introduced our case to detect the assessment of marine debris with marine debris images from the citizen scientists. So this is the collaboration between the dev group who are managing Ocean Night data platform and OSEAN. So we are starting to talking about the future of our platform. So I want to introduce some very good case of ocean big data platform like Copernicus by EU. EU the Copernicus is the most comprehensive and useful data platform with ocean data. So you can find out almost every ocean-related data in Copernicus data platform. And I searched for Marinator in use case of the Copernicus. I could find out the surface currents for rescue operation and also can be used for track the marine debris. And there are ocean plastic alert and tracking system and tracking floating plastic in Liberia, Gulf of Guinea, and there's other marine meter tracking model. And also I could find out this platform can support implementation of European Marine Strategy Framework Directive, which is the institutional basement of marine management of Europe. And also you can find out that these cases are also in Portugal, utilizing data for implementing the Marine Strategy Framework Directive. And I also found out that NOAA is conducting a big data project. The interesting thing for me is that they are utilizing commercially and publicly available tools, including Amazon, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud Platform. So people or business can use data from NOAA with the technology of big tech companies, and third-party partner can create value-added service so that they can sell it and earn the money and pay taxes. So NOAA declared that no additional tax should be paid for this system. Only third party produced added value can be covered the big data system of the NOAA. So I wish our platform can be sustained by this kind of added value by the business. So I believe in near future we can use generative AI technology like ChatGPT for analyzing marine metadata. I've ordered ChatGPT to make this image, the futuristic image showing that people can easily use big data, marine big data platform to solve their questions. ChatGPT show me this kind of image. So this is not just a dream, but we can see the kind of approach, and I wish I can use the kind of technology in our marine pollution big data platform. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lee, for showcasing the Korean case as well as the prospects for using AIs and database in using the advanced technology. So as I said earlier, we are happy to introduce our Ocean Nights, and this is international version. We had a Korean version used in Korea. Now we are happy to open this translated in English and then showcase today to show the coastal and urban labor data collection using drones, underwater cameras, and smartphones. And Our Dr. Hong Sunny, our representative of Ocean, is here to show you the first part of our presentation. So please welcome Dr. Hong.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone joining us from around the world. Welcome to today's event. I'm Sunwook Hong of our OSEAN Station Network, which is a non-profit research organization specializing in marine. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to Ocean Life, an innovative citizen science program that Ocean has been operating for the past 3 years. Especially, we are unveiling the new English version. While there is still much work to be done, I hope today's event will spark great interest among many of you. I will first introduce the overview of Ocean Nights and explain Skylights and Aqua Nights. Then Ms. Jongsu, my colleague, will explain Terra Nights and Urban Nights. After that, I will conclude my presentation with perspectives on Ocean Nights. All activities of oceans are based on citizen science. While there are various definitions of citizen science, we Ocean defines it as science of citizen, by the citizen, and for the citizen. The key point here is that citizen science aims to solve problems for the public good. In citizen science, balancing the acquisition of scientifically high-quality data with conducting science that is accessible for public participants is always challenging. Finding a way to satisfy both is very difficult. The largest and oldest marine debris citizen science program in the world is International Coastal Cleanup, as all of you already know. The most interesting feature of the ICC is that participants record the number of trash they collect. By using a single-use, around the 2015, the use of smartphone app CleansWell began to replace paper data card. This change enabled more people to participate to easily collect data. By using a single data collection format worldwide, the International Coastal Cleanup produces the only comparable data on a global scale. The ICC has led the foundation for developing more scientifically managed citizen science programs. In Korea, for the past 16 years, we have operated the Korea National Beach Litter Monitoring Program, which is a governmental program. One of the most stable and exemplary citizen science programs worldwide. This program was designed and initiated by myself and Jongmyoung, the founder of OSEAN, and this presenter. Recently, papers have been published that try to classify, measure the amount, or record the change of litter from the air, using unmanned aerial vehicles, webcam, or large balloons. Those researchers try to avoid labor-intensive methods and pursue low cost with new technologies. There will be more attempts like this in the very near future, and OSEAN is conducting a lot of research on such technology. These various research methods are individually applied. There is a big concern that only incomparable results will be produced. So many efforts are being made to integrate various data internationally. And the representative example is European case, Edmonet, And another example is to integrate IMDOS to integrate everything from remote sensing to efforts to gather data by sending underwater drones or robots deep into the ocean. Given this background, there is a growing demand in citizen science to use digital data tool. With the continuous development of new technologies, more opportunities are emerging for individuals or organizations to participate in our efforts to reduce the quantity and impact on it. In response to these trends, 4 individuals initiated the program and have formed a committee to oversee operations and technical development. Dr. Sean Lim is a physical oceanographer who conducts pioneering research in marine science data analysis, and the use of equipment. He's in charge of overseeing ocean's data analysis. Mr. Taejin Hwang, a PhD candidate, is the leader of the Exploration Diver Group Team Booster and one of the founders of the IT company Terra. And I have specialized in oceanography and ecological engineering, have been passionate about marine debris citizen science over 20 years. And Mr. Min-Soo Woo is a research engineer who monitors the ecosystem of Dokdo, the island located at the eastern end of the Korea, using drones and scuba diving. And he is also an influencer in social media. Together, the 4 of us created the Ocean Nights, establishing its name and fields of focus. So there are 4 of us here today. Our program is supported by a robust cloud-based data platform. The outstanding computer engineers at the IT company developed this platform to support the activities of my organization. This platform, Ocean Cloud, was developed for the public good, and it serves as a culmination of efforts not only in development, but also in continuous technological advancement to use data effectively for public benefit. Some of us developers are also present with us here today. We started with 3 fields, Terra, Aqua, and Sky Nights, and added the Urban Nights last year. DevGuru is responsible for the development of the platform. The technical committee and OSEAN handle the technical development of the data collection and reporting, as well as data analysis. And my organization, OSEAN, takes care of training, education, promotion, and operation. We at OSEAN focus on fundamentally preventing waste following an upstream approach. However, when it becomes trash, citizen scientists can also contribute to monitoring or protection program. This program was designed to find hotspots for efficient waste collection by local government or authorities. So in the city where waste, potential marine litter is first generated, Urban Nights can monitor waste using smartphone. As it moves further, when the waste flows to the beach, Terra Nights take over and estimate the volume of the debris, also using smartphones. When it moves further, Sky Nights monitor large area with drones to identify hotspots. Once the waste enters the sea, Aqua Nights report the damage on the ecosystem it inflicts on the world. Now let's watch this 4-minute video together, and we'll give you more comprehensive and yeah. This platform collects more metadata centers around photos. When a photo is uploaded, the uploader's copyright is automatically displayed at the bottom of the image. And data providers can easily download their own data in form of thumbnail, graph, Excel, and photos. When someone wants to use other person's photos and information, they must obtain direct permission from the photo providers. This platform values the contributions of the uploaders and ensures that users acknowledge the contributions of the providers. This platform provides a basic common format for the fold fields. However, it can easily provide additional formats according to user needs. For example, in the case of fire debris, which is problematic in Korea, it is easy to create a specific area or specific items of investigation that focuses solely on this issue. As another example, it allows users to customize data collection according to the needs of schools or organizations or ESG activities of companies. So far, we provide a general overview of Ocean Night. If anyone has questions, please leave them in the chat box. From now on, I will explain one by one. Recently, the number of drone users has significantly increased, and their applications and utility are expanding. Individuals with drones as a hobby or organizations with purchased drones can really participate in this activity of the sky nights. This is an example of photo taken by a drone at the beach. The logo of Sky Nights includes a seagull viewed from above and dynamic waves. The Sky Night activities require a drone and certification, and sometimes permission for aerial photography. Therefore, it would be more efficient for organizations or institutions to participate rather than individual citizens. Next. The purpose of the Skylight is to find hotspot for efficient waste collection again. And another purpose is to identify the amount, type, source, and location on inaccessible areas. Next slide, please. So we did metadata such as GPS and altitude, and we also need HD camera for taking photos or videos. This is an example. Initially, we required taking photos at multiple altitudes, but continuous research has shown that it's not necessarily required. To capture meaningful data from Skynight's activities, follow these steps. First one, capture the panorama from an altitude where the entire view is visible, which is approximately 30 meters altitude. And then point the camera downward at a 90-degree angle. Third is to maintain unstable altitude and take overlapping photos, ensuring there is spatial overlap between consecutive shots. Photos obtained from drones. It was possible to calculate the extent of marine debris coverage on that coast. So this number, shown as about 90%, can serve as a standard for management authorities to determine whether to allocate manpower and budget for litter removal when there is a significant amount of debris on the coast. This is another example of Skynight's data collection. So you can see litter in Skynight's video footage can be distinguished using AI and deep learning. We can count the 10 most serious types of trash on Korean coast. This method can be applied to other countries. The items were selected based on our national beach litter monitoring program and our research. Actually, this version is a little bit old version. So now we have upgraded. Okay. Next slide. This is summary for Skynights. Skynights use drones to photograph large areas quickly with minimal budget and effort. This helps local governments, authorities, organizations decide where the coast to clean first. The assessment can serve as a criteria for evaluating cost effectiveness. The long coastline and hard-to-reach areas make expensive drones unnecessary, even with a small number of Skylines. Stable photos are taken at 15 to 30 meter altitude using commercial drones and uploaded to the platform. OSEAN can provide additional analysis service on demand. Next part is aquariums. The picture you are looking at now is a picture of a flock of fish living in an area in the East Sea of Korea. You can see how organisms and fish live in harmony. However, our beautiful sea has some troublesome due to land-based waste and direct fishing gears. These waters cause damage. These waste cause damage to marine animals and plants. So many divers encounter debris and direct fishing gears in the ocean. Increasingly, divers not just enjoying their hobbies, their dives, but also participating in cleanup activities like in Philippines. So Aquanites was designed for these divers. In the background, there is a team booster, which is a marine exploration group Team Booster is a group of trimix divers. They can dive deep and dive for a long time. And they participated in a global project like Project Baseline. They could notice the change by plastic debris during their diving, so they started to record damage. This is a special result for collaboration between Team Booster and Ocean, which includes 43 cases of impact of marine debris on the ecosystem and marine life. Most of the cases were reported from East Sea and South Sea of Korea. There is no report from the Yellow Sea. It is not because there are not cases occur actually, because many divers are inactive due to strong current and poor underwater visibility. In 43 cases analyzed, 55% of the debris that has caused impact on marine life are fishing nets and 25% fishing trap. In the graph, more than 70% of the fishing gear that caused the impact was severely degraded. The yellow color in pie chart means severely degraded gears. They seem to have been left unattended in the sea for a long time. It was similar when analyzed by gear type, including fillet, fishing pod, fishing line, and rod. Species of organisms impacted by marine litter in photos were identified with the help of marine biologists. So bony fish or corals were identified from the image. So we have directly incorporate these activities and data collection method of the photographic casebook into Aqua Nights. This logo symbolizes the diving mask and the sea turtle accompanying the diver. Anyone with a diving certification and underwater camera, as well as divers affiliated with organizations, can participate in this activity. The purpose is to the purpose of the Aqua is to record the damage of marine life, and also to record the distribution of sunken litter in marine environment. It is important to record the GPS coordinates and before entering the water. And on the water, it is crucial to take clear and multiple photos to accurately capture the extent of the damage. An action camera such as GoPro is useful for taking pictures or videos. So upload the photos to Ocean Cloud, verify the location information, and record the types of damage and debris, and the species affected marine life, and the degradation of the debris, bottom topography asset. If safety permits, it is also beneficial to engage in activities to rescue marine life. We only provided a manual and online workshop for the people who want to be a part of Aqua Nights activities. As a result, from September 2020 to June 2023, the data collected on Ocean Cloud included 187 surveys and 500 photos. We finally selected 47 cases for underwater entanglement analysis, which accounted for 25% of recordings. The other 75% was lack of clear evidence or with unclear photographs. So we are currently writing a paper analyzing a total of 90 cases, which combine 34 cases from the casebook published by Team Booster and Ocean, and 47 cases extracted from Aquanite's activities. In summary, citizen science is crucial for underwater data collection due to the challenges and costs of traditional scientific methods in these areas. But the data quality varied with contributors' expertise. So to improve tools, clear guidance, and training can make citizen scientists' contribution more valuable and impactful for research and policy online. So further research on the policies to reduce impact by Gilead based on these results has been ongoing. Okay, from now on, my colleague will explain.
Good morning, everyone. Nice to meet you here. And my name is Jongsu, researcher in ocean. And from now on, I will explain about Terra nights and urban nights. It is a photos of Terra nights activity on the south coast of Korea. Let's see. We went to the field many times to test and polish the survey method and photo guide. Eventually, we get more sophisticated survey method and photo guide. And anyone who is interested in marine debris can join the Terra nights and urban nights. And Terra nights surveys the marine debris on the coast. The coast serves as filter for debris entering from the sea and ejecting from the land. Terra nights aim to assess pollution status from marine debris, identify its distribution sources, and ultimately work towards reducing debris on the coast. The reddish brown color of Terra nights symbolize the land, symbol of the Terra nights. You can see the land or coast in the symbol. And I'll tell you about how to do Terra nights survey. Anyone who is interested in the marine debris can join Terra nights. And the safety is the top priority. Please to survey in the safety place to avoid avoid sleeping or falling the water area. And the purpose of the survey is to identify the level of pollution, determine types and sources of debris. Eventually, we will find the hotspot and develop a management plan or plan coastal marine debris. And for site selection, please select a coastline longer than 100 meters. And you don't have to remove the debris after the survey. If you want to remove the debris, please prepare a trash bag and be sure that a filled trash bag is stored properly. And you just need the tape measure and the smartphone to do the Terra night survey. And now you are ready to terrorize a coastal survey. When you arrive at the beach, designate 100 meters from the beach. The beach may be longer than 100 meters, but you just survey 100 meters. And if you designated 100 meters of the survey for the Terra night survey, then you do the survey for each transit. You divide this 100 meter of the beach, divide it into 10 meters, and estimate the debris from each transit. And this means to estimate the volume of the survey, or volume of the debris. Then how to estimate the debris? You can refer this photo guide. This is the 5 meter, and this is 10 meter, and 30 meter, 40 meter. for the liter and 50 liter and 100 liter like that. And if you are difficult to estimate the volume of debris, you can practice with the already known volume of the plastic bag, or two people estimate the debris and make average from both of the estimation. And you can evaluate the type and source of the coastal debris. To do that, you move back to the subsection with the most debris. It means if you find transect, there are the transect that has most debris, then identify the major type and main source of the debris and land use and accessibility and seaweed coverage. You can enter this kind of information on the map, on the web. And for more information, take pictures from these facing to the factual and facing to the ocean. And you can take photos for closer photos. Then this kind of photo can identify what type of debris are there and where is the most polluted area on the 100 middle of the beach. And I'll show you the survey report, for example. This is the side photo, and this is the information. If you upload this kind of this side photo, you automatically many informations like for the site and the survey date will appear on the web. And these are informations and this evaluation. Most important part is this part because the evaluation and amount of debris appear like this. I told you you evaluate 10 meter transit. First part, if when you take photos and you evaluate the volume of the liter and enter the volume like 150 liter, then it automatically recorded on the web. And second, from this, it has 10 transact debris information. You can see the most important part of your evaluation of the coastal debris. These are uploaded photos from the surveys and their original surveyor information are here. Next slide, please. Then we can analyze the data as Sonny said. These are survey site of Terra in Korea last year. You can see easily where surveyed last year, and we can see easily from this map where is the most polluted. Then local government or citizen societies can collect the debris here and remove and make the code clean. Next slide, please. And when I told you, we can enter the debris, main debris type and sources of debris. Last year, we have household debris most, and their most important sources is aquaculture farm. And we can use this Terra data for local government collection plan. They are collecting the most polluted coastal area from local government. And this is the summary of Terra use rapid assessment of visual evaluation. So is cost effective and assessed rapidly. And Terra Nights can cover large area in relatively short time and requires less manpower. And it can help local government and the civil societies develop management plans against the shoreline monitoring. And it can be used to raise awareness among citizens about monitoring. From now on, I'll tell you about overnights. This is the overnight symbol, and this is the drainage of the in the urban area, and this is the waterway. So overnight aim to prevent crashes in the urban area to enter into the waterway. Eventually, it enter to the ocean. We want to do so. And who is interested in reducing monogamy can join overnight. And safety is of top priority here too. And the purpose of the urban night survey to monitor the entrance and the passway through which Terra terrestrial debris entered the sea and identify the amount, type, source, and location of severe pollution in the urban area. And you can select any area which is not dangerous place, like train, main street, vacant lot, or street, alley, shopping center is there. And when you go to that area, and divide the survey area into 20 trenches and to survey and take photos. And people study survey because if you have to record the information from photo, so activate the location tag on your smartphone. People study and take photos at your eye level and record height and the number of debris according to the classification table on your on this organized way. And repeat this procedure 20 times. These are examples of photos of the 20 survey. Next photo, please. We have this classification of debris in Korea. These items are most popular items in the urban area, but you can make your own classification according to your situation in urban area. These are examples of a survey report. And when you take photos for this site view, then automatically survey data, survey date, and location information will appear in your tab, in your smartphone. Next, please. And most important part is here, every information and every count, actually the count. If you enter the number of this kind of debris, then it appears. Count is here on your phone. Next part, please. These are examples, and for the survey, it has 5 here and 9, 8, like that. Next, please. And we can use this kind of data for raising awareness or local government management plan. This slide means no cigarette body here. So we can put this kind of information on the street, and local government install question for cigarette bomb. And many other ways to use this data from this overnight, as well as Terra nights and Aqua nights and silence. And actually, we are developed app version for urban nights. This app, when we take photos and upload it, the app automatically identifies every item in the name, like a plastic bottle and cigarette butt, and automatically count number and upload it on the phone. We have a beta version yesterday, and I'm very excited to use the beta version of Urban Nights. I hope you can enjoy this beta version of Urban Nights today or tomorrow. And this is the summary of Urban Nights. Urban Nights can assess the amount and type of debris in urban area and identify which areas of the city are heavily polluted. And it can be used to help local government to develop and implement management plans to prevent urban waste from entering urban waste. And Urban Nights encourage many people to participate because they survey the debris in urban areas. I think most people can join the Urban Nights. And Urban Nights app can detect and count debris items automatically using AI image detection. We have already this AI app-based Urban Nights. Thank you, and Dr. Sunny will continue.
So everyone could understand quickly what we are doing and as under the name of Ocean Nights. So from now on, I will give perspectives of Ocean Nights. Regardless of 4 areas of Ocean Nights, we can create various types of data collection formats. This is an example. Through long-term monitoring program and other surveys, we identify these 10 items which are the most important and serious in our country. So we realized that these reducing these items is essential to solving the problem in Korea. So for the purpose, OSEAN launched 10 to 1 campaign in 2022. This campaign means reducing the amount and impact of top 10 items by 1/10. So 90% decrease is our goal, very ambitious. So in this Ocean Cloud platform, we opened the 10 to 1 beach cleanup group. At this moment, 10 important items in Korea are included here. You can count those only in a certain length of coastline and clean the rest of later. You can save the efforts for participants recording for all the items stranded on the coast. So this can be customized any country, any organization or country. For example, 10 to 1 beach cleanup Vietnam, 10 to 1 beach cleanup Philippines. Our program focuses on several key areas to address modern nature and environmental protection effectively. First one is that we utilize cutting-edge technologies to engage citizens in comprehensive data collection and analysis from urban to underwater. We identify hotspots and reduce accumulated debris, not to move further. Our Aqua Nights focus on minimizing the damage to underwater ecosystem. We can tailor our efforts to address specific national or local issues such as 10 to 1 beach cleanup campaign targeting the top 10 most serious items in each situation. We continuously innovate and expand our technological capabilities to make our method accessible to a broader audience, including companies' ESG activities. OSEAN will provide a robust data analysis service to support our initiatives, ensuring that our efforts are data-driven and impactful. Together, these initiatives form a comprehensive strategy to combat marine litter and protect our ocean. We invite you to support and participate in our mission to create cleaner and healthier marine environment. Next. We are joined today by the outstanding developers from Daegu, led by CEO Mr. Ji-ho Song, who created the data platform for Ocean Nights, as well as the volunteers of the steering and technical committee. So please give them a big round of applause. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I also would like to extend my sincere thanks to the 360 Ocean Nights activists and my colleague ocean researchers, their dedicated efforts. The activities of Ocean Nights have been sustained for the past 3 years through the voluntary contributions of Daegu and small donations of Ocean. Please support us and invest in us so that our efforts can contribute to reducing plastic pollution from the Asia Pacific region. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
Thank you, Dr. Hong. So thank you for the comment, and I think we can officially finish our open session here today. And as Ellie mentioned in the chat, you can send us an email, and we're more than happy to assist or address your questions. So thank you everyone for your participation today. And I have one notice before we say goodbye. So we also encourage you to join us at the second open session scheduled tomorrow, which will be going through the global plastic trading in more detail from marine environment and legal and chemical perspectives within the Asia Pacific region. And the session is titled Key Issues and Response to the Global Plastic Trading from an Asia Pacific Perspectives, and will be held tomorrow, July 11th, from 1:30 to 4 p.m. Korean time. So once again, thank you everyone for your participation, and we hope for more sound and advanced data collection and management of marine debris in the future. So thank you very much.